had something from a record like...
I'm going to the blackboard again. In the... I hope you got those. If not, you're too late. When you take a stick, here's some water. When you take a stick and you dip it into the water, like that, it does that. Ever noticed it when you was a kid? Always bends. Now, it will bend more when this is thicker than water. So you stick it in syrup, it'll bend a lot more than that. This is what you call, this light does the same thing. When it goes into your crystal, it hits your crystal and it bends. And that's called light refraction. There is an angle of light refraction which is there, but don't bother about that. That is light refraction inside your crystal. But when you use the outside of your crystal to direct your beam or whatever, the way you facet it will determine at what angle you send your beam out at. I've got a chart here, if you follow me across here a second, and it shows you some little different angles here, look. The angle of this one, it points up there. This is your reflection off that side or any side. The reflection is that angle there. This one is thinner, and the angle is entirely different. And this one is much steeper. So however you facet your crystals, that's where your light will shine, because this is reflection, not refraction. Now, light refraction is not energy projection. There's a difference altogether. I don't know whether you know, but light itself doesn't go anywhere. The only place light is at its source. Light reflects all the way at 186,000 miles a second on atmospheric and whatever conditions. Light goes nowhere from its source. It reflects at that particular speed. If you were to stand in front of it, you shut it off. It didn't go anywhere. Somebody said, where's the light go to when you switch your flashlight out? Well, darkness comes in at the same speed. But light doesn't go anywhere. So when you're using reflection from your crystals, what are you doing? You're not sending energy to anybody. You are only redirecting the light. If you want to send your reflections out for, we'll say, a certain color, and you're not going to direct it, you're going to send it out to a person. There's color. It's nothing else but energy. Color is light, it's spun into color. Magnetism in color. Therefore, if you play magnetism with no color onto a person, you're helping them. They'll absorb it into the system. If you're reflecting a particular light, one of the lights of the spectrum, onto a person, then that strength is more than just magnetism. It took a certain amount of that energy to make it that particular color. And so you direct those lights to that person. But there's more to that to come in a minute. Now, if you want to have a crystal, I'll go back to the board again. If you had a crystal that was, you say you faceted it with four sides. Let's see, like this. You facet it like that. You got 4 reflections. Now those reflections go out at a certain speed of or beats per second. You know that energy is not in a piece, it's all like dots all joined together. And this one here with the 4 faces would send out 4 beeps, if you like, per second. If you had a 6-sided one, then it would send out 6 just spots of energy at a time. 8 will send 8 faces, you send 8 out. So the pulse is getting faster, isn't it? If you got one with 12, the 12-sided ones, they make marvelous ones for hanging in the wind if you want rainbows all around the house when the sun shines in it. You've got 12 faces sending them out. So you have control here not only of the area which you can send them, you have, how can I put it, you have more scope in width and probably less in depth, depending what angle you make this. Suppose you made that one about very shallow like that, not so deep as that. It will spread this way, won't it? In that way. And its outer limits, if this was a person's stomach here, it would reach to about here. This one here would not even go so far. It would reflect down to about here. It wouldn't even go so far. So wherever you put your angle on here, it will reflect the right angles to it to a certain distance. When you change the shape of your crystal, you not only changed the reflection angle, you have changed the shape of the coil which goes up through it. And when you change it like these three, that's equivalent to each one, you have changed the speed. It takes longer to go around this one than just to go around that one or that one. You change the speed so that it doesn't matter only in the beginning. When you set up an experiment, you would know how long it is before it gets cracking to do something. But you would also know that one works faster than the other. This isn't always bad, because in many cases of healing, it should be done very, very slowly and gently, not in a rush. No healing should be done in a rush. But this is one way you can slow down the energy you put out. But the energy you're putting out, remember what it was? It's out of the top here, and what's that? It's radiation. It's not negative energy, it is radiation, and the energy could be used for the color. I was explaining how you could use the colors as opposed to using energy. I'll show you how in a little while how we can direct a color into a person without losing any reflection at all.